Power center world. What is power center? So first of all, Informatica is a company name. Okay, it's a company name founded, before 2000. I don't remember exact year, but they are one of the best tool from that company is Informatica itself. We call it Informatica. Within that Informatica, they have a separate name called Power Center. So generally, when you say ETL tool, they will not say Power Center ETL tool. They will say Informatica ETL tool, but actual name for that ETL tool is Power Center. Okay, but the company name is Informatica, so we call it Informatica only. Informatica ETL tool. Okay. Informatica has other products also, like a super glue, like a power center exchange, some other small tools which you use for the um, data cleaning, or to deal with some different type of sources, or oh my god, oh my god, are you guys able to hear that? It's actually, thunder's coming. This is summer starting and it's raining heavily from last 2 days. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Hyderabad weather is suddenly changed. Last 2 days, 3 days, it's raining heavily, and it's middle of the summer. So I think that's what the global warming is. Okay. Anyhow, so um, Power Center is an ETL tool. Okay. So what are the other ETL tools in the market? We have n number of ETL tools in the market. But the market leader is Informatica. In ETL tools, the market leader is Informatica. What other tools we have in the market? IBM has one ETL tool called Data Stage, and we have Ab Initio. That's another ETL tool. And MicroStrategy is both ETL and reporting tool. Okay, and Microsoft also has an ETL tool, and SAS also has an ETL tool, and SAP also has an ETL tool, like called as BODI, Business Objects Data Integration Tool. SAP bought Business Objects company, so their ETL tool became BODI, Business Objects Data Integrator. Okay, so there are different ETL tools in the market. If your project is using a lot of mainframe or an IBM tool, what they do is IBM will try to sell you data stage. They'll give you as a package or something. So people use data stage. Now, in some companies they use Ab Initio. If their source files are kind of a different thing, or they think Ab Initio is better, they use that. And Microsoft tools, some of them they will use it for reporting, so they think ETL also will be easy, cheaper, so they'll go for that. Informatica is the market leader and little costly also, but it's still market leader, and most of the ETL projects I see, the data warehouse projects I see, 75% of them are on ETL Informatica only. Informatica means power center. Okay, you can say it Informatica, you can say it always Informatica tool, but general it's a power center. Okay. So we'll go through the what is purpose of the power center, what are the terms used in power center, like that here. So why we need an ETL tool? Why we need Informatica? Why we need a data warehouse? Why we need a data warehouse? So basically, every company will have a lot of data nowadays, correct? So the customers, calling them, the customer support will be there. So from the data from the customer support will come. There will be front end systems. If you buy a policy, an insurance policy, they enter the data in the in the system. That information will be there. If you have a claim, that will be there in the claims database side. You know, if accident and all this stuff, all this information will be there in the claim set, correct? And then policy side, your customer information, your policy information. If you have multiple policies like a auto policy, auto insurance, and then home insurance and fire insurance, personal insurance, if you have it, all that information is there, correct? But all this information may not be in the same structure or same database, or may not be in a way so that they can combine these things and do a data analysis or get a report, or to understand what is how my data is looking, how many policies I have on a given day, how many claims are generating my company, how much claim amount is per this year, per this month, per this week, like that. So what is my ratio of my premium amount and what is my claim amount? Is it claim amount is greater or is the premium amount is greater? Or when some calamity happens, or when floods happens, or something happens, when is there my claim amount is going more than my premium amount? All this comparison, all these things, data comparison, understanding what's your the data and deriving from them some meaningful information so that you can use for your company to develop your company, to improve your business, correct? Or to take decisions so that you can improve the business, okay? And these are in different things, they don't communicate with each other very well. So here an example for sales, there is a marketing department, accounting department, manufacturing department, inventory department, resource planning department, and sales department, billing department. So every database is in different system, different database, correct? Accounting is in SAP, manufacturing is DB2, inventory is an SQL server, like that. So they don't talk. If you want to generate a report from all these things, it's difficult to join these things to combine this data and get a meaningful report. It will take a lot of effort. So that's the problem we have right now, correct? So the problem, to communicate with each other, you need an interface, correct? Suppose if marketing want to talk with manufacturing, you need a communication. If marketing want to talk with sales, you need one communication. If marketing want to talk with billing, you need a communication, like that, correct? And if there is some change in one database, suppose you do something changes, and then it will affect everything. Suppose you made a connection between all those things, but still if you change one database, then everything else needs to be changed. Suppose if one database upgrade, and then that effect will be there on all other things, correct? Some changes you need to do to connect with all of those things. And definitely it is not in the format what we want, correct? It's not in the same format. So the solution is a data warehouse or a data integration, we call it. Data integration, okay? So data integration technologies allow all these applications which are using different databases, correct? And different formats to communicate with each other using one interface. So we do a data integration, means we pull all this data and put it somewhere, from all this database, and so that it will communicate with each other, correct, with everything. So you integrate the data of all this database and keep one place. So that's a solution. So why Informatica? What is the use of Informatica Power Center? And this is the data integration solution which is available today. And it can communicate with any database. It can communicate with any database. It can change the format of the any data. It can change the format of any data to other format. Okay, so that's a power center tool, Informatica power center tool. Okay. So I hope you understood. We have companies with a lot of data, but they are in different formats, different databases. So we need to integrate them. So that's a solution. To integrate them, we need a ETL tool or any data integration tool or an ETL tool. Informatica Power Center is the one of the best premium market leader tool in the as of today. So we it can pull the data into data integration area from all these different databases. Correct? So example, what is a data migration? Data migration is another term. So suppose if a company purchase other company, okay, or some application, new application, a company purchase a new accounts payable application. Then we need to move the data from that existing application to the new application, correct? So then how you will move that? So there may be different ways differently. So Power Center, you can actually move everything from the same format to the new system. If there is a format change, also it can change. So we can move using the Informatica Power Center from the old application to the new application. It is called data migration. It's called data migration. Application integration. Suppose a company purchases another company. What they need to do, they cannot maintain application both sides, correct? Because it will be costly. So they need to integrate their application so that their burden will be less. Suppose they have different billing system, they need to integrate those billing systems. They need to integrate those billing systems, and Informatica Power Center can be used there. So Informatica Power Center is used for data integration, application integration, or migration, anything, correct? For any movement of data, you can use Informatica. And the other main solution is data warehouse. Data warehousing. So data warehousing puts a lot of information, correct? It's a history data. Warehouse, when you say it's a warehouse, you have a lot of things, correct? It has a lot of information. And where we get that information? We get that information from different databases in your company and then load into data warehouse using Informatica Power Center. Using Informatica Power Center. I am telling you Informatica is ETL. E for extract, T for transform, L for loading. So we extract data from multiple databases and then we transform it as per the business requirement and then we load it into a database or a multiple database into the target set. So we call it source and target, correct? So we extract from multiple source databases and then we transform column level or a table level or whatever as per the requirement and then we load into target databases. That's where Informatica Power Center is used. So you can see it. E for extract, T for transform, L for load into the target system. So source and a target. So that's for the data integration methodology. ETL for data warehousing. So when you say source system, we call them operational systems. We call them operational system. Why? They are used for operating the company. They are used for day-to-day activities of the company. So those are called operational system. Like when you go to a office, they have front-end system, correct? So they enter data there, customer data or anything that goes to their operational systems. Or when you call a customer care, they'll talk with you that whatever data they are entering, it will go to the operational systems. So operational systems can be a different database, correct? It can be an RDBS, RDBM is relational database, okay, like Oracle, Teradata, anything, or the mainframe systems, or some other systems, or flat files, or whatever it is. So different operational systems you have, and then there is a decision of support. What is the decision support? It's nothing but a data warehouse. I said we build data warehouse to pull the data again from that and generate reports, right? And based on those reports, we take the decisions. To improve the performance of the company, or to improve the business, or to improve the customer satisfaction. So that's, you're taking a decision, so we call it decision support system or a data warehouse, correct? Decision support system. So basically, operating system, it transaction data, every day-to-day transaction data. So when you are doing transaction, it should be faster, so correct? So it's optimized for transaction response time. So when you enter a customer ID, it should immediately give you that customer information, and when you enter it, it should store immediately. Some transaction response time should be less, correct? So it should optimize for transaction, and it should have current data, and it should be normalized or denormalized data. It should be normalized or denormalized data. We will talk about what is normalized and denormalized later in detail, but at a high level, if you guys know about database terms, normalized, basically, if you have, suppose, a states table, a table with a states information. In America, we have 50 states. So you have 50 records, correct, in that. That's one table. But you have, within that state, you have counties. Suppose within that state you have counties. So that county ID will be there in that state's information. And again, if you go to county ID, so that counties maybe will be stored in another table called counties. And then again from there, a city or a town, another table will be there in that county. So you have a states table, and within that you have a counties table, another table called counties, and another table called cities. So you are connecting these three tables with an ID, with a key, correct? So counties and states will be connected with the state ID. So in counties table you will have a state ID, and in the city table you will have a county ID. So if you want to pull a city, county, and a state, you join these three tables and you pull the data. Okay, and you pull the data. So this is one way of storing it, one way of storing the data. Or you can store everything in one table with 50 states, and for every state again you have counties. Suppose one state, Indiana, has 100 counties. So you will have 100 records with the Indiana state information in that table. Or again, in that every county there are 1,000 cities. So it's 100 into 1,000, 100,000 cities. So you will have 100,000 records for Indiana state. So in the same way, for every state you will have a city level information, correct? And you will have a county name, county ID, and the state ID, whatever. So the number of records are more now. The number of records are more. Like I said, suppose if 100,000 records for every state, it will be more, right? Whereas other way, if you have three tables, correct? In the states, you will have only 50 records, and again in the counties, maybe every state has 50 counties, so you will have just 2,500 records. In the cities table, you will have more records. But whenever you want, you can join all those things and you will get everything. So that way of storing the data is called normalized data. If you are storing everything in one table, that's called denormalized. So if you have everything in one table, all the information, that's called denormalized. So it has, normalized has some advantages, some disadvantages, all this stuff. But mostly operational systems are normalized. Sometimes they have denormalized also, but mostly normalized. But whereas decision support system, we'll see what it is. So when you once you extract the data, we do aggregate. Aggregate means group by, or state wise what is my total sales, or at county wise what is my total sales, correct, like that. So you aggregate the data based on some parameters. You clean the data. You cleanse the data. Sometimes you give address. You write an address with some zip code wrong, or a street number wrong, or whatever. So we have some tools, which can actually check the validity of the address, and then you can change the address, correct? So that we clean the data. Okay. Consolidate data. We consolidate data, and we apply business rules. Suppose if this customer is 10-year-old, then give him a more discount. If the customer has more than one policy, if he has a home policy and then auto insurance and everything, so when he is buying some new policy, give him discount. That's a business rule. Okay, something like that. Then it's denormalized data. See, data warehouse is always denormalized. Why it is denormalized? Because you have one state table now with the information of counties and cities. So you have 100,000 records just for Indiana state. That's for Indiana state. Because the information is at city level. So your state ID, Indiana, is repeating 100,000 times. Correct? Because every city, Indiana city, you are having Indiana state. And then counties may repeat sometimes, because every county may have some thousand cities, correct? So that 1,000 times that county names is repeating. It's fine. It's fine in data warehouse if it duplicate, if it is repeating, if it is redundant and whatever. We in data warehouse we have lots of information. So what is the use of if you have denormalized data in data warehouse? If you have every information in one table, because it's easy to retrieve the data. It's easy to retrieve data. Suppose if I want select star from Indiana state, all the cities. So it will just go to the table and pull based on that where condition all the records from India. So retrieving is easy. Whereas if it is normalized data, if you give the same query, it needs to join these three tables, correct? It needs to join these three tables. So joining will take time. So extracting data will take time, correct? So always data warehouse will try to keep it in denormalized form, so that the performance of the retrieval will be good, so that you can retrieve the data very quickly. Why we need to retrieve the data? Why we need to retrieve the data? Because we need to generate the reports. Generating reports, suppose if you are loading a data warehouse, once you load the data warehouse, business users will ask you, will generate reports, correct? They want to know what are my total sales for this state, what are my total policies I sold in that particular year or particular state or particular county. All these questions, they can pull the data from the data warehouse, correct? They can pull the data from the data warehouse. So the retrieval should be more. There will be number of users, business users. Someone will be querying from marketing, someone will be querying from the finance department, someone is querying from the accounting department. So all these things, so that the data warehouse should be denormalized form, so that it can improve the performance. So basically data warehouse is have aggregate data and will have history data. You will store lot of history data, So now any questions? I am just keep on talking. I want you guys to interact. Guys, any questions? Anyone? Till now? Please feel free to ask the question. And if you ask a question, it will be useful for you and for others also sometimes. Because the question, others may not be thinking in that way. Once you ask that question, when I explain it, others also will get that information. Okay. So we have 12 more minutes. So we'll keep every session for the 1 week or just 1 hour only. So I want to, so any one of you worked on the informatic, dealt with databases earlier? Do you guys know the databases, different databases? Yes, Rahul, yes. Santosh, keep it on mute if you're not talking. Okay. So what kind of database you dealt with, or what kind of database you are aware? Type in, if you know this database or you heard this database in your college or in your, work, in your work site. What kind of database you heard? Relational database, network, hierarchical. Yeah, that's theoretical wise he's telling. Yes. So the names, do you have any particular names? Oracle, DB2, Access, MS Access. Yeah. So that's it, correct? So I have Oracle, DB2, IMS. Yeah, that's mainframe, IDBMS, like that. So you have a number of databases, correct? SQL Server, that's correct, Shiva. So mostly used databases nowadays are Oracle, correct? So Oracle is used source side and targets. And then SQL Server is also used, correct? SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server. MySQL may not be used mostly in the data warehouse side or the source system side. So there are a lot of database, but mostly I saw, as per my experience, data warehouse operational systems, I mean source systems, mostly will be either Oracle or SQL Server or DB2, which is the mainframes database IBM side, DB2, or sometimes Teradata. But mostly target will be Teradata. Your data warehouse will be Teradata or Oracle. Oracle also can be your target. I saw DB2 also as a target in some projects, some old projects like a 7 years, 8 years back. DB2 also as a data warehouse. Okay, but nowadays slowly everyone is going to the either Oracle or the Teradata. But most of them are now going to Teradata slowly. Okay. So then now big data and everything is coming, but as of now, Oracle and Teradata. Okay. So that's good. So to communicate with all these things, we need a one language, right? Database. That's called SQL, structure query language, to communicate. So we'll talk about the structure query language, even though some of you know, some of them you don't know. We'll just give you some classes so that you guys can understand how you can use the SQL and practice it. Okay. So here, if you see Power Center writes data row by row to a table or group of tables in database or to a file. So your source can be anything, Oracle, DB2, IBMS or IMS or SQL Server or anything, correct? Or a flat file or a MS Access or an Excel sheet, correct? Or a mainframe file, anything. And we extract from them and we transform using the Power Center tool, and you load into the final table. That can be a flat file or that can be a target table, correct? And we have this source, is called source definition or source, from where we are pulling, and where we are loading we call it target. Where we are loading we call it target. We use this thing often. So source is something you are extracting data. Target is something you are loading into it. That's your target, final target. Okay. So the mapping, how you do the mapping in ETL, how you pull from source and how you pull into load into target. We'll discuss this thing, in the next classes. So basically you will have called mapping. So you will tell this is my source, this is my target, and these are the things you need to do it. Okay, and then you will have some transformation with it. So transformation like a filter, aggregator, like that. Okay, and then you put them all these things to workflow, and then you run that workflow. Then it will extract the data from source and load into the target house. I will discuss those topics in detail when we are actually discussing about ETL tool. Okay, as of now, understand the purpose of the ETL, the purpose of the data warehouse, why we need a data warehouse, like that. Okay, any questions in that? We have 6 more minutes. I'll give this time for the questions and any doubts or anything you want to ask. You need to speak up, you need to talk whenever it's required, so that you have a question. Please feel free to ask that question. Is it for everyone? Is this thing topics are clear? Why we need a data warehouse and everything?
Yes, I have a question, Naveen.
Yes.
This, I know that data warehousing takes from multiple sources like relational databases, flat files, Excel, and other things. Do they have the capability of taking from the mainframe databases like IDMS and IMS, not DB2, but IDMS and IMS?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
They have. So this particular things, DB2 is common, correct? So we all know that it's a relational database, so you can connect to the DB2. But this direct mainframe, within direct connecting to mainframe or IMS, or even if you think about SAP, or if you think about a CBEL, correct? All these are different applications nowadays, correct? Mainframe is the old system, but still a lot of companies using mainframe. So we need to pull from the mainframe. But nowadays SAP application, or or a CBEL application, or some new applications are coming up, correct? So Informatica will have separate connectors to connect to them. Okay, and it can read COBOL files, all this also. Okay, so the nowadays Informatica can connect to anything. There is no limit actually. Okay, but did you work on it or not? That's the question, correct? So if you get an opportunity to work on that, you will know that. Otherwise, you will not. Correct? If you get an opportunity, you will work. Suppose I worked with a DB2, but one of my friend is working from last 10 years in one project only. Example. So he has only worked with Teradata database and a ETL tool, that too on Windows. Informatica is on Windows. Okay. Now, so he has only that experience. So it differs. So when you go for an interview or anything, you can say that I have only this experience. I did not get any opportunity to work with a mainframe mainframe files or COBOL files, like that. If they ask you a question, so you can answer whatever you know. Okay, that's completely fine, because even that guy may not get an opportunity to work on. So I just added you for your question some other information also, Rao. I think it answers your question. And Mr. Buddy, Cool Buddy, is asking, do we get access to your system while practicing? No, you will not get access to my system. You will install Informatica and Oracle in your system. I will give you software through the net, and you download it and you install it. One way is to install Oracle and Informatica. Other way is, if you don't want to install it, you can download the virtual machine file, okay, and then practice it there. You have everything installed already in that virtual machine.
Okay, but can we get any data sets?
Yes. So data sets, to play with the data sets, you have some sample data sets I will give you. In the Oracle, you will have some sample tables. You can play with them for a while, and then I will give you a project. Okay.
Okay.
I will give a project where it contains some tables, flat files like that. You can play with them also. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So while you are doing practicing for Informatica, you can do a practice with 2 tables, 3 tables, or 1 table also. Correct? What you want to get here is you need to understand how to use Informatica. Okay? Then you can keep on changing what you want to get in the target. Correct? You can create your own target tables. Okay? You can generate them and you can see it. Okay, I want to filter it now. I want to aggregate it. So you can do that too with a minimal set of tables also. Once you get that confidence, you can do the same thing to any table.
Okay.
Mr. Rao, now can you hear me? Is everyone able to hear me? Okay, he's good now. What is data sets? Okay, Jyoti is asking what is data sets. So data set means I did not understand. Are you talking about database? Data set is just a some term talking about data, correct? So basically you have databases, correct? And in that databases you will have tables. Okay. Suppose you take an Oracle database. Suppose if an insurance company is there, that insurance company has a system called policy database. Okay, so you buy policies, correct? You buy insurance, you buy a home policy, you buy a car insurance, like that. All this information may be stored in one database in the form of tables, in the form of records. So that database will have multiple tables, correct? So the tables will contain the data. So that's the data we are pulling is from those tables. So these can be, the tables. So this is called database, complete database. Okay. So that's what is your question. Data set is nothing but set of data, correct? It can be a database or it can be anything or a flat files or whatever if you are using that term. Okay, okay. So now 7 o'clock. Thank you, thank you, thank you everyone for keeping unmute and asking the question. So I want this class to be interactive. If I am speaking and you guys are just listening, you will get bored. Okay, any class, correct? So let's communicate with each other. So ask the question in between. You can stop me. You can ask the question. Okay, when I am explaining one topic, I'll try to complete that topic, small topic, and then I will take the questions like that. Okay. In between, if you have a question, you can type it. You can type it so that you don't forget that question. Okay. So let's be interactive. Let's communicate, and we will make this class lively, and we'll learn as much as possible. Okay, from me. You should. I'll explain the topics what I want to, but you should extract the data from me as much as possible. Correct? By asking questions. Thank you, everyone. We will meet tomorrow. Okay. Again, I'll hear. I'll say. You may hear from your. Um, yeah, no problem. So I'll send an email if you need anything or if you want to do anything through email. You can communicate. You can reply to me in email, or you can call me also. Some of them you need to contact Satish because you joined from Satish, correct? So if you join from myself or a consultancy or any other consultancy, you can talk with me directly. Thank you. Can we have a WhatsApp group? Yes, we will have a WhatsApp group. That's a good idea, Rao. But not now. Let's wait for 2 to 3 days and I will tell you my decision so that we can communicate. Suppose if I am coming for late to the office or you are not coming or you are coming late, we can communicate through the WhatsApp, definitely. And I will be always try to be online in my Gmail so that we can talk also. Yeah, that's a good idea. Rao. Thank you. Okay, guys. I think one extra guy joined. I don't know who. Okay, Praveen. Okay, no problem. Okay, take care, guys. Venu and Satya, you are able to understand, correct? You did not say anything today. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Okay. We'll talk tomorrow again. Bye.